No, it's terrible when I think about it. I mean, these MPs now, overpaid, underworked, all sexual predators, the men. It's an absolute disgrace, it is. And they all seem to be coming out. It seems to all be saying they're this, that, the other. They're doing all with sexual problems, perverts. A lot of them. It's disgusting. And it's corrupt. It's absolutely corrupt. And the councils are just as bad. They're horrendous, full of horrific people as well. It's terrible. And that Chris Matheson, all he did was, he did complain. He said that the places they were putting me in was below par and it were filthy. All these places that they were using, the hostels, were dangerous. So then they put me temporarily in a Premier Inn, but they soon got me out of there onto the motorway, didn't they? Oh, yeah. But I was just thinking about that. But he did ask them, he just wanted an explanation of where all the money's going. I remember that was in the email, because they're getting paid. And where's the money going? We know damn well where the money's probably going. It's certainly not going to the people they're helping, put it that way. Precisely. Anyway, all I know is it's terrible, it's corrupt. All these councils are as bad as each other. It's a bloody good job, though I didn't meet him now in the room, just thinking of it. I'd have been traumatised. If he tried to grope me, mind you, he wouldn't have groped me twice. He'd have had the full swing of my arm, I'm telling you. Even though I've got arthritis on my side and everything, and I've really done something to my shoulder, can hardly hurt. It's terrible, but he'd had a full swing, and he'd have been down on the floor, I'm telling you. He wouldn't have groped me twice. Bloody pervert. I'm sick of them, I am. Now I asked him, I gave him loads of emails replying, begging him to help me, and he just ignored me. When I went to the office that day in floods of tears, I had the door shut it coldly in my face by a very large man who seemed to be gay, who was working for him. He was extremely rude to me and slammed the door in my face. That's a terrible way to treat customers, isn't it? Oh, yeah, because they think if you say you're homeless, they can get away with it, you see. Oh, yes, because most of them have been in prison on drugs and alcohol, so they think, oh, they don't matter, let's shut the door in her face, she's nobody. That's their attitude, yeah. Yeah, they think they can get away with it. Well, we'll see how this plays out. Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. Anyway, things are coming out now, starting to come out. Lots of things are coming out, like he's come out now. There'll be a lot more coming out soon. Then see how that plays out. But I'll tell you something, it's catastrophic the way I've been treated. And I mean, all the councils are just as bad as each other. I don't trust Wirral at all, not one iota. The woman in the morning rang me to say she'd ring me back very soon to sort out some hotel accommodation for me on the Wirral. Yeah? She did not ring me back on the Friday. And then it was left to the out-of-hours team, where they had to deal with it. And there was a very rude man there who expected me, even though the public transport stopped running, he expected me to basically hitch back in the dark on my own. They wouldn't pay for transport to get me back to the Wirral. Then he didn't tell me where I was going, so I said, I'm not having that. So in the end, because I said, well, I'd be outside in Southport, in the end, about 10 o'clock at night, he decides to put me in the Clifton for the weekend. And then I have to ring first thing Monday morning, apparently. I don't even know who I'm ringing. And they've left me with no food, nothing. If it hadn't been for these nice Italian men, I don't know where I'd have been. And I never asked them. They could see I was distressed. And when I broke down, they were really nice and just gave me food. But I feel too ashamed. I can't go back. You feel so ashamed. But they're so nice. But, I mean, it's the members of the public that I'm relying on, because there are a lot of nice people, thank God, out there. There's a lot of bad people. I'd say it may be 50-50. I'm not sure. I think there's a lot more good than I thought there were, because a lot of people have been really kind to me. So they understand and they think it's disgusting. And they say the same thing. They say it's the corrupt government we're under. And they're all as bad as each other, because Chris Matheson was under Labour. Labour's just as bad as Conservative. They're all corrupt. They're full of hard people who are overpaid, underworked, sexual predators, sexual perverts, full of depravity, the lot of them. And they're disgusting people. And these lowlifes are just running the country, which shouldn't be happening, because Charles should take control. He is not a sexual predator. He is not a pervert. He's a decent human being who actually cares about plants, and he's the king. So it's his country, not theirs. And he needs to employ a new government. He'd employ Greenpeace or somebody who wouldn't be sexually misbehaving, he'd employ a decent government, which Conservatives, Labour, they're all the same. They're all corrupt. They're all horrific. Like the councils are all horrific. All the housing option schemes in all the councils I've dealt with are horrific, apart from the London one, which she turned out to be nice. But that was just a one-off. These are horrific. Chester West, horrific. Liverpool, horrific. Sefton, horrific. Wirral, horrific. They're all horrific. They don't care. They want people dead on the street. That's what they want. That's what they're aiming for. Well, when they have me dead on the street, they'll have big publicity about it too. I've just had enough of them because they are trying to kill me and I am feeling very suicidal and I'm not going to lie about it. But what did I do? I was taken by police in a terrible state and dumped in Liverpool Royal Hospital, it is called, the Royal or something. I was dumped there and I was there for 48 hours and they did absolutely nothing. They said, oh, you see somebody come. And they saw a doctor who said, I wasn't psychiatrically, there wasn't a psychiatric problem. It was because of my housing. And he felt really sorry for me. He said, they're probably having a breakdown, but there's nothing they could do. So because it wasn't an issue. And I said, I know. I said, I don't know why they dumped me here. And he didn't either. They tried to contact the councils. They were very nice. Don't get me wrong. A few psychiatric nurses, they were lovely. The male ones were very nice. They tried to contact the council, but the council wouldn't. Liverpool Council refused to put me in a hotel or do anything with me because I wasn't under them, as hard as nails. So they left me out cold on the streets, and they weren't doing anything to help me. In the end, I just left because they said all they were going to get was the Whitechapel. So I said, well, if that's all you're getting, they're useless. I rung them myself, and they said I'm not under them because I'm not under Liverpool. So even though you're hungry and sleeping rough in Liverpool, which I was, because I was at the time homeless in Liverpool, they refused to come out and help me. And so they are not helping people. I've heard terrible reports about the Whitechapel from all the homeless people in Liverpool that I've been speaking to. The whole other city is full of homeless people. And they're putting the Eurovision there. And they think that's a city to be proud of. It's a city to be ashamed of. It's a city where young children are being stabbed and being shot. That's the type of place Liverpool is. It's nothing to be proud of. Chester itself is a lovely city, and I'm going to have to get back there. I don't like the housing option team. I think they're corrupt. They're terrible people. But I'm going to wait now for this new MP. Hopefully, it's a woman this time, and see what they can do. Because I can't cope with the situation I'm under now. It's unbearable. And I'm under Chester, really, and anyway, so I have to go back to Chester, but not under the housing option team, a different way, where they can help me. Because this is not going to happen with Wirral. I can see how it's playing out. I mean, he left me starving with nothing to eat, and basically told me to hitchhike back. You know, he didn't care that I got no money for transportation. They just don't care. They're not doing the jobs properly, and these are meant to be social service people. It's appalling. And as for Sefton, they had a note on their books not to help me. That's to do with that Greta. Do you know why she's been so spiteful? Because to begin with, she was horrendous to me the first time I met her. Hard as nails, cold woman. I thought, what a horrible person. I'll be honest with you, you know what I mean? And then she got this man from the hostel to come out and see me, and she was all over me, really nice. Put me in the Premier Inn because she knows I like Premier Inns. Gave me a breakfast every day. They knew I had no money for food, so at least they were giving me like £10 a day to go into Morrison's with. So I was just getting by on food. And then she does a U-turn, dumps me off on Birkenhead Premier Inn. Yet the Wirral, she said there was a care package and they're taking over. They didn't know about it, and there was no care package. So she lied, and she was involved with Sefton. And this is called Lighting the Life, or Light for Life in Southport. This is a corrupt organisation that needs closing down, to be honest, because they're not helping people. I've heard bad reports about it, though, because I saw how rude they were to one woman who was being evicted, and she was distressed and going in, and I heard them say, oh, God, it's her again, and things like that, which I didn't think was very nice, to be honest, at the time, because they were all over me, really nice to me, couldn't do enough for me. I think it was because they knew I was suicidal, and they bloody knew that it would look really bad for them while I was under them in their area if I had done a suicide attempt. And I think that's what it was, to be honest. And she thinks she's got rid of me. Well, she hasn't got rid of me because I'm in Southport now. So surprise, surprise, I'm still here. I'm still likely to be here. Because as soon as Wirral let me down and won't put me anywhere decent, I'm back here. And I'm outside here. Even if I'm outside here, I am back in Southport. And there's nothing she or anybody else can do about it. No. So there you go, until I can get proper help that I need. If I can. Because I'm extremely suicidal. But it's all very well being suicidal, which I genuinely am. Trying to kill yourself is more of a tricky situation. It's very difficult. I've fucking tried it. Look at Russell. I mean, he took 72 tablets and nothing happened. He's bloody still alive, for Christ's sake. Oh my God, he's tried hanging himself. Goodness knows how many times. All he did was choke and fell on the floor or something. He knocked himself unconscious, but, I mean, oh my God, I tried electrocuting myself. I've tried jumping onto the track a few times at the train station, but people have pulled me back. They've seen what I was doing, tried to calm me down. And I've tried things, but haven't gone through with it because, I've tried and then I haven't got the guts. It's not that you don't want to die, because I do. I'm just scared of actually doing it in case it hurts. That's what I am, because I am gutless. I'm saying the honest truth. But if they give me, like, a needle in my arm where they kill you or they snap your neck, then I'd say, yeah, please do it. But it's just me having to do it myself. It's too much. If somebody was killing me, that would be great. But it's just that, it sounds funny, doesn't it? But I mean, the thing is, it's just me. I'm so fucking gutless. I'm just so fucking gutless. I haven't got the confidence to do nothing, have I? That's the thing. I'm shitless, gutless. That's my problem. But I'm being left with severe neglect, severe hate upon me. Nobody giving a shit about me because I don't have any living family who does care anymore. Everyone's deceased. I've got nobody. I'm in this world alone with not one person I can genuinely trust at all. Apart from Russell, he's really nice. But he can't do anything to help because he's in a fucking mess himself with no money. So he would help me in a second if he did have. He wouldn't have left me on the street with a sleeping bag if he had a big house in Upton with plenty of money like that pervert Paul did. Oh, no, he wouldn't have. He'd have sorted me out straight away because Russell's not a pervert and he's a great person. I mean, the perverts I've dealt with such corrupt people, drug dealer, that sexual predator who tried to rape me in the toilet in that place. Oh, my God, he's a sick, twisted pervert, that Paul, oh, my God. And then I've now dealt with somebody from an occult church. Oh, my God. She did pay for a hotel for me for 3 nights, but then she becomes aggressive. And another woman from the church, she took me to her place, and that woman was really ill, and I had to leave the next day. It was terrible in there. It was filthy. The woman shouldn't be left on her own. She can't cope. They wanted me to piss and shit in the garden because I couldn't climb the stairs. So luckily I only had to piss. Luckily I held that in. I go around with these tablets anyway, diarrhea tablets, and take them all the time. If I find myself in precarious positions where I'm not in a hotel, I take them so I don't have to go. And then, so, I mean, it's terrible. And it was terrible in there, damp, cold, filthy. And the walls are coming down with filthy things on it. And that's what the council have given it. It's wicked. The poor woman. And then she said that this was an occult that this woman was involved with. And the church is called, what is it called? Fire Mountain or something Ministries. If someone can check that out, how dangerous that is, I don't know. But she said that there was this thing where she saw it where a woman's having a baby and they're witches all dressed like witches walking around chanting. That frightened me. I said, that's nothing to do with Christianity. No, she thinks because they do black magic, occult, and what is it? Not paganism. It's that other thing. What is it? I forget now. Witch doctors, they are. The witch doctors, because they come from Zimbabwe or foreign country. It's like a black church, and they do witch doctors and wizardry and all that, she said. So that doesn't sound very good at all. And I thought, well, why do they get hold of us? I mean, I just thought, well, she's gullible and vulnerable too, like me. They prey on people like us. And I'm sick of it. Because I might be gullible and vulnerable and people are always laughing and taking advantage of me, but I'm not fucking stupid, so forget that. So don't forget it, because I'm not stupid. I've got a brain. Got a very high IQ. So remember that. So when you're bullying me, judging me, saying horrible lies about me, that's why I've taken all the way the things of these sick, twisted weirdos that were on here. We know who they were. Anyway, I'm not stupid. Remember that. I'm not stupid. But I mean, the way I've been treated is terrible. And I just want to die. I've just had enough of it all. I don't want to live another day. But there's nothing I can do about it if I haven't got the confidence to go through with anything. I don't know what to do, because I don't want to end up in a psychiatric hospital. I don't want to end up in these dirty hospitals anyway. They're filthy, these A&Es. They're not clean enough. I noticed they weren't cleaning after each person. It wasn't very good at all. This NHS now is an absolute disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. There was a man opposite me, and he was really ill, in terrible pain with his wife. They felt sorry for me. They went across the road to get me a pasty and a drink of orange, because I hadn't eaten. And she was going over to get coffee or something, and she got me a pasty and a drink of orange. Anyway, he was in terrible pain, and they put a drip in his hand. They thought it was a blood clot in his lung, but he'd had a blood clot previously in his leg. Well, I said he should be on warfarin then, shouldn't he? Because I know a little about it. I knew a woman in Wales who still had it, that my mother was working for. And once you have a blood clot, they give you warfarin to thin the blood to stop other blood clots from forming. Well, why didn't they give him that? And his wife said, well, yeah. And also, they didn't even know what it was. They kept them there for 3 days doing tests, but thought it was. And they're doing different tests. It's ridiculous how slow, because each test takes ages, because there's so many people they have to queue for everything. And, it's a disgrace, this NHS is now. It needs to be abolished and start from afresh. It really does. Because before the NHS, your hospitals were clean. I can remember them saying it. They were spotless. They had matrons, and it was spotless and very strict, where there would be no germs at all. Everything was disinfected. And that's how it was then. I used to get doctors to your home then and things. Okay, you had to pay for them, but they should have something where people who don't have money don't pay, that's all. But people who have money do pay. And then you wouldn't be a national health, but the service, so it's free for poor people. But more money you earn, the more you pay, and that would be a safe thing. And I think that's what they do in other countries, you see. I'm sure Australia and America are like that, aren't they? I don't know. Some countries are, I'm sure, where you just pay on the amount you have. It's much better. So that rich people shouldn't get NHS anyway. But you wouldn't want it, would you, if you got the choice? You'd definitely go private. You wouldn't go in a dirty NHS hospital when you can go privately. It's like a fucking hotel, would you? Let's face it. Anyway, it's awful in there. I hate hospitals anyway. But I stayed there because they promised they'd help me. I thought they were going to put me in a hotel for the night and then get somebody to sort me out and feed me. But they didn't. They didn't do anything. They did absolutely nothing. He told me he was going to get me a burger and chips. I said I was starving. Oh, don't worry about it, love. He said, I'll go and get you a burger and chips. One of these nurses or whatever there. And he didn't. And then 2 hours later, I said, oh, no. She said, oh, we won't do you that. A horrible woman came on duty then, some nurse. And she removed me from behind the curtains and shoved me in a bed on the ward until the morning, and then said I had to be kicked out. And it was freezing, and I said, why is it so cold here? And she said, oh, the heating doesn't work. Well, they had a really ill woman at the side of me behind a curtain. It was very distressing. And she was moaning and screaming out, and I kept telling them, and they were ignoring her. I mean, they were ignoring her, and she was distressed. It's awful for people. I mean, it's really bad now. It's disgusting, this NHS. I'm appalled by it all, actually. It's a terrible service. It needs to be abolished. It's a mistake. And they need to do what they do in other countries, because other countries seem to have their services seem a lot better. I don't know what Sweden are doing, but they're perfect, that country, isn't it? Well, you don't have any rich or any poor. That's what he told me. Everyone's on an equal balance, so there's no crime. Then it's just a better way of living when everybody treats each other more fairly, because they're not trying to be better than any other. You know what I mean? So it's much better on that keel with the same amount of money, same everything. But, I'm sick of this country. It's terrible. It's gone to the dogs. It's gone to the dogs a while ago now. And, I mean, we should be ashamed of the governments. I mean, when you think about your country, oh, my God, and they're all bloody sexual predators. I mean, it's disgusting, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, my God, it's terrible. Why can't they have anybody decent running the country? For God's sake, it's an absolute outrage. And what are they going to do now? They're going to put Boris Johnson back in, or that other one. I don't know. I mean, none of them are to be trusted. I don't like any of them, to be honest. I can't trust any of those men. It's not on. That woman didn't last 5 seconds, whoever she was. Oh, I don't know who these people are, and I don't want to know. I know that none of them care. That's obvious. They seem oblivious to people who are in real trouble. They just ignore that. And I'm in serious shit, to be honest. I know I am. Because I'm without a home. I have zero money. I have no living family and nobody to care to me. I'm on the world on my own. On the streets I'll be. I'm sure Monday I'll be back outside in Southport. You mark my words, because here I am, psychic again, predicting it, aren't I? Because what'll happen is Birkenhead will say, we'll shove you in the YMCA to be raped with all the heroin addicts or something. That's where this man got mugged and beaten to a pulp and raped. A man on a bus in Birkenhead told me a while ago it happened to him in Birkenhead YMCA. It's not like YMCA. That seems to be like a holiday place. I think they've got a different idea to that YMCA, to this YMCA in Birkenhead, where people are being beaten to a pulp. Anyway, that's why I bet they do something like that with me. So I'll be straight back to Southport then, on the streets again here. That's what it'll be. And it's getting colder. It's different in the summer. It's not a funny place to be out all night in the winter. It's not a joke. It's wicked. While they're all in lovely, cosy homes, laughing at me because their lives are perfect, and this is what they are. And these are the council. These are the social workers. These are the people that are working for the housing option team. These are all these corrupt people who couldn't give a shit about anyone, and they're all working. You call it working. That's an operative word, isn't it, to be honest? They're in jobs, as you call them, and they're meant to be caring and helping people, but they're not doing anything. To begin with, they never ring you back. And they promise, and they never do. I know they don't. Well, they don't. And lie through their teeth blatantly about everything. And I've had enough now, because a few councillors have done the same to me. So it's not as if it's just one. No. They're all as corrupt as each other. You're right up against brick wall with them all the time. And the accommodation they've given this poor woman. Well, I'll put the video on here, but I didn't video much because it was poor lighting. She didn't even have proper lighting. But she can't cope in there. She's very unhappy. No wonder. She can't afford to put any heating on, and it was freezing in there. I was frozen. She can't afford to put the heating on, and she can't afford to eat, she said. Other people, like neighbours and different things, have been giving her food. And this woman that comes over, she seems to have plenty of money. I don't know who she is. She's from this church, as I told you about, this Fire Mountain or something, Ministries it's called. And she seems to have plenty of money, because she tells me she put me in hotel. And then she becomes very aggressive. And I don't know why. She's all over you one minute, then she's aggressive the next. It's very strange. It's very cruel, actually, what she does. But I don't understand it. But I don't know what she's doing and what she wants with me and her. But it seems very odd to me, because all I know is I've been told by this lady that weird stuff is going on in that church, and she doesn't want to go back to it. She tried to get me to go there. There's no fucking way I'm going in there. Because apparently they put oil on your hands, this woman said, and she didn't have the oil on her hands. She was clever. She didn't fall to the floor. And then people start wailing and falling unconscious to the floor. Then they get up and start screaming. And then this man walking up and down is on about Jesus healing them or something. That's nothing out of the Bible. That's nothing to do with Jesus, I'm telling you. That's what she said. It's more like occult stuff. And I don't know what he's doing. But I don't really believe in anything. I think what he's doing is he's probably putting ethanol or something in and makes them go unconsciously sniff it in. And these silly girls, it's mainly these women, she said, are going down on the floor. And then they think they're being healed. But she said there's all sorts of weird stuff going on. And she'd looked it up online, where apparently in some countries with it, the priests make the women take their underwear off. And I thought, oh, yes. You can check it out on the internet this then and see what you can find about it. And they cure gay people. This church has cures for gay people. Like that's an illness. That's what I didn't like. Because if they think being gay is an illness, that really makes my blood boil, to be honest. Because to me, being gay is more natural than being straight. That's me. Because at least they're participating with sexual activity of their own gender. That's how I feel. I'm certainly not frightened of any lesbian or any gay man. I feel very safe with gay men. Oh my God. I've just had enough of it all, though, I'm telling you. It's unbelievable. I do get myself in the soup, though, don't I, with people? Oh, well, she got it wrong, this woman. So I'll just mention this about the Catholic Church. She tells me, oh, go to the presbytery, go to a Catholic church, they'll help you. She found one, rang them up. A lovely woman comes on the phone, very polite, very nice. Oh, don't worry, we'll help you. You can't be on the street. We'll put you for a few nights in a hotel. And we'll get you hot food and everything. Brilliant. So I wait for her to ring me back, and eventually she rings me back and says, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. We can't do that. We don't do that. We don't put people in hotels. We don't give people food. But you can get a food voucher, not a food voucher. You can go to a food bank. And I told her, thank you for nothing. I'm used to it. So they're meant to be working for God. They're working for nobody again. They're taking the money off people on the Sunday, aren't they, for the church? And you know where that's going, probably the vicar's pocket. That's where that's bloody going. It's not going to helping people like it should be. These people, no wonder I'm atheist. These people are giving Jesus and God a terrible name. This is the point. And if they really exist, Jesus and God, or whatever, they would be on my side because they know I'm a genuine person. They'd be on the side of not people that go to church, people who are atheists, like Bob Geldof, like people that do genuine work to help people. Like he's humanitarian, he'll help the earth and everything. He should be Prime Minister. So people like that, you know what I mean? That type of calibre we need. Not a person who's going to not care. You know, and then they go to church like, oh, Jesus is Jesus. Oh, Jesus, I love you, Jesus. Jesus, and suck around Jesus to get in heaven and lick your bum. Like they're licking, Lord Sugar. You know, you see that when they're thinking, I like you, Lord Sugar. Oh, yes, lick. Lord Sugar's not stupid. He knows what these people are like too. He's got a brain or he wouldn't be where he is. He knows exactly what they're like. I hate fake people. Hate them. And most people are fake too. This is the problem. I'm not. I'm fucking real. My life is fucking real. It's shit. But I'm real. I'm raw and I'm real and I'm here. And I wish I wasn't here, to be honest. I wish I fucking wasn't, believe me. Because it's too much. This world has been too much for me. It's been a very nasty experience, to be honest. Some of it good, not all of it. I've had some good food in my time. I've had fun like that. I've enjoyed myself when I've been younger, I must admit. I've had some good times, some laughs, some fun times. But at the moment, it's horrendous. I've broken my heart and I'm just left now at the mercy of the world. But hopefully a lot of good people will come out now and help me, I'm hoping. I've put myself on here. Feel free to share me any way you like. Feel free to get anybody to help me because I'm desperate. I'm in the Southport area. It's easy to see me. I can't not be missed. I'm in the Clifton Hotel till Monday. And if I am on the streets, I'll be in the McDonald's. They're really nice stuff there. Or walking around like the promenade of Southport. You can't miss me. I'm on a walker. So, I mean, I'll be around. That's where I'll be. And I do have a PayPal, but I know people are short of money. But if you can donate and you have any money, a fiver, anything, I'm desperate. It's pinkbabybutton6@gmail.com. Any money would be greatly appreciated and will go into feeding me. Thank you very much. And larger amounts will go into putting me in accommodation for the night. This was 42 quid a night to stay here. And which is the cheapest one I can find that has a lift because I can't walk up steps. Some B&Bs might be cheaper, but I can't get up the steps. So they're called guest houses, they told me. I used to be in one, as I said, 20 years ago, but I could walk up steps and I can't. They tried to get me up, couldn't. So I'm in the Clifton at the minute. I'll be here till Monday at 10, and then I don't know what's going to happen because I don't have any money to put myself back in now. But the council in Wirral are meant to be dumping me over there. But if it's not suitable, I'll be back here. So that's where we go. So we're open now and we don't know what's happening. But anyway, I've got I'm not suicidal tonight because I have a warm room to sleep in. I've got a bed. The ceiling's high. It makes me a bit dizzy, but that's not a problem because I turn the lights off and I'll get to sleep because I'm fucking exhausted. And I've had a nice hot meal inside because those lovely men are looking after me. But It's terrible. And McDonald's look after you too. So you don't completely starve to death. You're okay. You can manage. But I don't like asking them. You see, I'd never beg. I could never go up to people like these homeless people do and ask for money. You feel ashamed. You don't even want people to know you're homeless outside. Do you keep a low profile? You feel so ashamed. Anyway, I just thought I'd let you know what's happening now, and just get it off my chest basically and say everything. But the worst people that I've dealt with at the moment, I'd say, was Light for Life charity, this Greta in Southport. Absolutely disgusting people, giving you false hope, pretending to help me, telling me that they got a care package when they knew nothing about it. How unprofessional is that? It's wicked what she's done. And then she's put me on with Sefton Council, and they were meant to help me and all this, giving me a false hope, all over me, then turned aggressive and ditched me. I'd like an explanation, because the man in the hostel, that lovely man that night last week, he couldn't understand it either. When I told him, he couldn't understand it. He said it's bizarre. He couldn't understand it, why they'd be so cruel. And as he said, I'm not fit for the hostel either. He understood that, because as he said, they're for naughty girls and boys, heroin addicts, drunks, people that have done time, not me, streetwise people. You've seen the type of people that are going about. It's nothing to do with a snob thing. It's to do with different type of person. Like, I'm vulnerable and innocent. They're certainly not. You can see by the look on their faces. And they walk like this. What's that about? Is that speed or something? Why do they walk like pigeons like that? They walk really fast, all these homeless people. I've seen them. And what is that about? They all do the same walk. I don't know. They walk really fast with their heads going like this. I've noticed that. I don't know what that is. Is that heroin? Or it does that? Or is it speed or something? What is it? Because I don't understand what these drugs are anyway. The only drugs I'm on are paracetamol and cocodamol. So I don't bloody know. Oh, I've had enough of it all. I really have. Anyway, I'm going to try and get to sleep now while I've got a bed. I've got a bed tonight. And I've got a bed tomorrow. So tomorrow night I'll start panicking again, knowing that I'm going to be outside. Because what I'll do is they'll probably have to send me back to the Wirral, decide they're going to put me somewhere horrific. Then I have to come back here then. So it's a long way to travel, back and forth. I'm just thinking of leaving my bags here, because they're very good in this hotel. I've left my bags here before, if the room's spare. They had a wedding in here tonight, so they needed the big room, so I couldn't have left my bags there. But normally they just leave people's bags around the thing at your own risk. So I'll take the small pink bag with my rag that I sleep with, and my medication with me, my inhalers and stuff, and the phone chargers and phones. I'll take the pink bag with me and leave the big ones, I think, here, because it looks like I'll be coming back. I don't trust them, and I can always come back and get them anyway. Do you know what I mean? That bus driver doesn't even charge me because he's really nice, and I should have a disabled pass anyway. As he said, it's disgraceful that nobody's helped me get one, because they don't care. Goodness knows what's happened to that woman in that terrible hostel that they put her in Southport. She's been there for about 6 weeks now. They've got no intention of finding her a place, that's what she said. They just keep them there forever in these filthy hostels. It's not on, you know. It's an absolute outrage. Anyway, I don't know. I hope to God now Chester West is employed with a lovely new MP. Lovely. I'm going to be lucky, aren't I? I've not found one that is lovely so far. But hopefully it's a woman. Let's just hope Chester West gets somebody, because it looks like I'll have to go back with them. But I said I don't want to deal with the housing option team again. I can't deal with that. So an MP will have to fight for me. Which, if you get a good one, they will. So that's what I'm going to have to do, because what the behaviour is corrupt, what they've done to me, discharging me, leaving me on the streets. Shelter said it's illegal and that I can get legal aid solicitor where they have to take you back. But I said, because they hate me and they bully me, I can't go back with them. But he said, you're entitled to go back because you're entitled whatever area you're in, apparently. I didn't know that. So I could stay in Southport under Sefton, but Sefton say that they're not to help me and I'm not under them. But they don't know that I know I can be if I want to be. So I might decide to be yet. Haven't made my decision yet whether I'm going to go under Chester or Sefton. But I'm not going under the Wirral. I can see that coming out as an end, because I don't trust them at all. They're lying too much for my liking with this. They left me homeless for a week and they didn't take their responsibility on. They didn't take over like they were meant to. Now, whether or not they got the message, we don't know. She said they did. She was quite adamant that she'd had meetings and they did. So I don't know. And they've just left me. But then again, that woman ring me in the morning about 10, tells me, I said, look, I can't wait. I'm very stressed. Oh, don't worry. I'll ring you back within half an hour and all that home. She didn't ring me back. I get a phone call about 4:30 to say you have to deal with the night thing now because I'm going. You'll have to ring them. So that's great. I have to ring. If they hadn't given me that burner phone in Liverpool, those people from the bloody Whitechapel, I don't know where I'd have been. She comes out that day because the woman from the church makes her come out because they don't know I'm not under Liverpool. And she was very nice, gives me a phone, takes me in, gives me a sandwich, drink and soup in the, I can't even remember what that place is called now. It's quite nice. Something like Presta or something. I don't know, where they do sandwiches, a nice one. And then she said, like that, and she said she'd ring me at 12 the next day to check on me. She didn't. And her phone's turned off. And the man there, I rung the thing, and he said, oh, she can't deal with you. You're under Wirral. He said, you're not under here. So we can't help you. That's how cold they are. So it should be a general thing all over the country that where you are, if you happen to be, like I'm in Southport tonight, social services from Southport should be feeding me, but they're not. And they refuse to, they want me to starve to death. They don't care. If it wasn't for decent, it's strangers. It's human beings, normal members of the public are feeding me. These men from a restaurant, if they hadn't fed me, I would have starved, and that's the honest truth. Well, I'd have been quite ill because all I've got is crisps. I think I've run out of crisps now. I've got some chocolate bars left. I found, look, Galaxy that's remelted itself into a different shape. But I've got that and things like that left. But I mean, it's not on. It's not on. And they just don't care. And this is what you're up against. And then people who can't defend themselves at all, like people who are high on drugs, that's why they're dying, because nobody's helping them. And something needs to change. I mean, it's terrible. I can't understand this, that nobody's doing anything. This is the point, and they're getting away with it. I mean, anyway, I'm just going to the MP all the time now. This Wirral MP didn't ring me back. I'd left a message for them about it because I don't trust the Wirral. But the MPs, they all corrupt themselves. So what can you do when they turn out to be groping people and things? That's all they're interested in is sex. They're sexually depraved. They're not interested in helping people. There's something very wrong with them. They all seem to be sexual predators, the males, and the women seem to be as hard as nails and couldn't care less as well. It's a corrupt organisation. It's MP business and the all the government and all the councils. It's all the same. You need Greenpeace or something like that, like a Bob Geldof to be Prime Minister, Greenpeace to be running the country. People like that, people with the trees and who naturally care and things, people like that who are decent, who would actually help. You don't want to be dealing with these hard people who are out for themselves and sex the whole time. That's all they're interested in, is partying, Partygate and all that. All they want to do is party and have wild orgies. That's what they're doing in these places, in these Downing Street. You see, they're having wild orgy parties the whole time because they've got tons of money, taking the piss out of people, and people who are starving on benefits, they can't afford to heat their rooms. Like this poor woman, it breaks my heart for her because she's really vulnerable. She's not well. She can't cope. She can't clean for herself, and no one's helping her. She's got cats there. It's filthy. The cats shit and piss everywhere, and she can't cope, and no one's helping her. And she's sweet, and she's really nice, you know. She's really sweet. I just wish I could win the lottery and help her, and I help a lot of people out there who are homeless. I'd get that woman out of that hostel tonight and put her in the bloody hotel and buy her a flat. I'd buy this woman a lovely place, like a bungalow or a house where she could have her cats. I'd do a lot for people if I was in power and had money to do it with. Get myself a home, of course, straight away. And then all I want to do is sleep, watch a bit of TV and eat. That's all I want to do. I never want to go to a hotel or have a holiday ever again. They call this a holiday. It's not a fucking holiday. It's hell. And then I just want to do that and sleep. That's all I want. That's all I want. I've just had enough. But what I'd like to do is change everything because it's not fair. And it's terrible. She's living, it's freezing for her in there. And she can't afford to eat. She hadn't eaten for days either. All I had was crisps to give her, and she didn't even take them off me. She has hobnobs and different things there, but not proper food. And she needs food. She can't afford to eat. She's feeding the cats. and that's it. And then she's got it's damp in there and cold. It was freezing. I couldn't wait to fucking get out. It was terrible in there. It's warmer outside. And damp walls. Oh, it's horrible in that house. It was horrible that they'd given her. It's disgusting, the councils are. And that's Liverpool. They're really bad then. People had said they're really bad. But then I'd heard good reports. So I don't know. They're worse than Chester. They are, I think. To be honest. It's terrible. Because the amount of people on the streets in Liverpool now, with the lockdown, it had all gone. This was the cruelest thing, the lockdown. Because they were actually nice to people during COVID. COVID was a good thing that came out because it made people kinder. And it was good for the homeless because all the homeless were put in decent hotels. Once it's finished, they're kicked out. They're back on the streets. It's back to square one. It has not resolved because they said during COVID that there wouldn't be homeless people. They wouldn't let them go back on the streets. Well, they're all back on the streets. You've only got to go to Manchester, Liverpool, Chester, any city centre, and you can see what's going on across our country. Everybody is back on the streets, including me. It's an absolute outrage. I mean, I was put in that Rooms Hotel for 6 months. Then it kicked out. Chester West kicked me out a week before I was meant to come out anyway. And then and that's what they do. Back on the streets, everybody. Sleeping outside. In this weather, they've given them tents. I mean, that's why I'm at the mercy of these corrupt people. Because rather than go in a tent, I'll go and stay in a stranger's house, even if they are with the occult. Because I'm that scared to be outside in the cold that I'm putting myself at risk. And Barracuda 6, I've not heard from him since because he wants an address, a proper address to send this passport to. And then I don't know what he expects me to do then. That sounds a bit dodgy. People have told me to not have anything to do with him. He's dodgy. Because he's told me that he wants me to go to Dubai there. But I don't know what that's all about. I'm not really getting positive help. I'm only getting fake help. But this occult church now, this has frightened me. I mean, the woman did put me in a church, in a hotel for 3 nights. But then she said she was going to put me in another night. Then she became aggressive and was yelling and shouting and decided she changed her mind, which was cruel and sick and twisted. That's what that other woman said. It's terrible. These people are not right. She's horrible. But the thing is, I only dealt with it because I was desperate. So then you're at the mercy of people, aren't you? Like that drug dealer in London. He put me in Hilton for 2 weeks and it was lovely. But I'll go anywhere if somebody will pay for a hotel for me. But the problem is I'm at the mercy of the world because the councils aren't helping me. So then you look for strangers. And if strangers put you in a hotel, but the stranger turns out to be seedy or dangerous, that's not my fault. I don't know what because I'm desperate and don't know what to do. I'm really scared, to be honest. I really am. I'm really scared. I'm at the mercy of this corrupt world, aren't I? And most people, all these people are corrupt. There's some good people out there. And you just got to wait for them. Members of the public, general people. Quite a few of them are good, actually. But there's not a lot they can do because most are without money as well. So there's a limitation on what they can do. They can give you a meal or something, chat to you, calm you down. But there's not much more they can do. They can't afford a hotel for a few nights. Most people can't because they're paying their bills. And the councils refuse to help you. So it's surprising that this jerk actually put me in here for a few nights. Anyway, we'll see how this pans out on Monday, won't we? Because it looks like I'll be outside back in McDonald's Monday night. I bet you anything. Bet you bottom dollar I am. Because they'll have let me down, tried to get me somewhere seedy, and it won't be happening. And I'll be back here again. So I'm under Sefton. So then what we do then is Shelter gets the legal aid solicitor that insists that Sefton take me on, and they have to. Then he says they have to put you in a B&B because you're unfit to go into a hostel with my medical history and everything. He told me all this. And that you have a right then, and that they will insist they put you in a B&B until they find you accommodation. And they can't stop it. Greta can't stop it. None of them can stop it. Because if I choose to live in Southport, that's what I'm going to do. Because it looks like I have to do that because I'm not going back to Chester West until they have a decent MP involved who can fight for me. Then I might go. But at the moment, I'm here. Reason being, this place is safe at night. 24-hour McDonald's, 24-hour bowling alleys and things, gaming places. So you can go in and shelter. Whereas, if you're in West Kirby, a safe area, nice area again, there's nothing open at all. Everything closes. The restaurants close at 10, there's bars, everything, there's nothing. So here you are safe, you can shelter, you don't have to be outside. So this is why I'm here. Plus there's no heroin addicts about. Whereas in Liverpool, I wouldn't stay there, things are open there, but Chester, there's nothing open there either. But that's full of tents, full of the heroin addicts there. They've given them tents throughout the city. Little orange tents, there's loads of them, and they're having fights. They're very dangerous. So that's why it'll be here when Wirral let me down. And I'm sure they will let me down, because unless they put me somewhere sensible on Monday, I'm back here. Because they're not going to keep me here. They're transforming me to Wirral on Monday, that's what he said. So let's see where they transfer me to. Transfer me to. Anyway, we'll see, because it looks like I'll be back here outside. It is safe out here anyway. Anyway, I don't know. So there you go. So if anybody can help me, please get back to me and do anything you can. Because I'm fucking desperate, and that's the honest truth. Goodbye.